curriculum design, CD. CD here stands for curriculum design. Curriculum design and instructional materials. This is an introductory module, right? And we are just talking about what we will cover in the main topic of curriculum design and instructional materials, what issues we will take up and discuss, what theoretical considerations will be taken into account. Okay, so just for an introduction, we have already taken a good look at that the main purpose of curriculum design is to create materials or instructional materials for language programs and to give instructions how to adopt, adapt, or choose the existing materials. So that's the main, we will continue to investigate the main issues revolving around this main topic. We'll begin with the basics. As you know, we have already taken a greater look at how the curriculum design, what elements are involved, what are its essential features. One of them is, the needs analysis, identifying the needs of the students, and the environment analysis, identifying the situation, the learners, teachers, administration. And then we also discussed in detail the significance of developing goals and objectives of language programs. And then we talked about syllabus planning, right? And we also talked about the provision of effective language teaching and what approaches we could use or employ to practically implement a curriculum product. And then the instructional material, that's what we're going to take up now. And the assessment we'll discuss later. All right. So you could see here that instructional materials are important element of the design of language curriculum, right? So, that's the main center of how to adopt the existing book or how to adapt it and how to add or delete few things. These are the issues we will continue to discuss. So curriculum design is very much, determined by our approaches towards instructional materials, developing, creating materials. The reason is because materials provide, a basis of input for what happens in the classroom. They provide input for the learners. They provide a means to get contact with the language taking place in the classroom. So, in other words, materials are seen as a supplementary help for teachers, and they also provide sources for learners where they could know what they are learning, when they are learning, and how they are learning, right? So the relationship between, as discussed here, is between materials and language curriculum design is very much integral. They are interwoven, and we can't have a good curriculum unless we make, wise decisions about materials development. So that's how they are very much, interconnected. So as I said, they provide input for language learning in the classroom. Okay. There are different types. These types we'll continue to discuss later on. The first one is the books, the published ones. For example, the books used in the state-run schools in Pakistan is one example of the, published materials. And then we've got the non-print. We'll discuss these types later on in our later sessions. And then we've got internet, which is a big source of materials development. YouTube, I personally see it a big and helpful source of developing materials, and magazines and TVs. So in brief, curriculum design and the creation of instructional materials are very much interwoven. So much of the information about this topic will come from Richard book, language curriculum development in language teaching. So these are some of the issues which I have just touched upon here, and we'll continue to shed light on these issues, and we'll continue to see their significance for material development or for creation of instructional materials.